I advocate hard for increasing that because I know we always significantly end up having to find the money either through transfers or free cash. But if we budget for 280 this year, we have to budget for 280 every
That's the
subsequent
new
year.
floor.
That's the
No,
minimum.
right, cause we can't cut that, cause then we can't deficit spend. I
Right,
understand
right.
that.
And so,
But we've been over by a lot the last few years, and
And-
this year's gonna be ugly over.
and like I said, I had always advocated for that until understanding that because we can deficit spend and because this year we might be a little bit different, but historically, we have had a reasonable free cash, that we've been able to cover that.
And you can also carry it on your recap.
So, and so that's my only concern. I would love to see it fully funded.
Just my request.
Yeah.
You know, as you can
You,
see, we went over by 70,000 last year. I had to take that money out of someplace else in my budget to
Right.
cover that.
and there will be years that you won't have it in your budget to cover, and it would have to come from someplace else. And you're both right? This is a conversation that happens and should happen, because you are right to advocate to appropriately fund, and Leah is right that there's,
That's all.
this is every town deliberately underfunds their snow and ice because it's the only one that you can. Yeah.
And I just wanna be clear, like, I am all for fully funding it. It's not, I just wanna
Yeah,
get
no,
conversation for,
Chris and I have had this conversation every day for a week, so we're on the same page.
It looks like we've budgeted 200,000 every year.
It's been at 200,000 for a while, but
It
like you
was
said,
150 for a while.
the year before last, we had a great winter. I think we treated the roads 20-something times. Last year, we treated them 39 times. To the tune of a couple thousand tons. This year, we're at 62 times. Already, it's only February.
But we wanna make sure
And we're
that
at 4,000 tons of material.
So,
So speak to somebody about getting the daffodils up earlier, I don't understand.
Yeah,
So what's the actual budget number, 252 or 280?
because we still
I
have
have
two.
280,
That's what you requested?
yes.
But then it's 280 forever.
cause we,
Right,
Plus,
but the thing is it says
We have
in
252
252 in the request was 280.
so, Chris, was the actually 277, 825 and 25?
Said, I didn't put the recommendations together, and I'm
The budget's
standing by
200.
Seth's budget,
No, but I'm saying, so,
he's
That's not-
recommending 250.
280.
That's not what I'm saying is, but the request should still say 280 because that's what
So
the
it's really
department
not-
requested.
Right, but
It's not out of the realm,
That 280
Oh, right,
may have
right,
been
that's
part
what
of
I'm
the
saying.
But that was my,
revised.
right,
because
okay.
you don't know.
still see everything.
The 277 was the
Okay.
actual,
Okay.
budget was only 200,000, he said.
Right, but I mean, the actual was 277, so if we go with 250 even,
Yeah.
we're still
Barbara.
way under.
I don't have the original request, I only have what was plugged into the budget, so I'll go back and take a look
Yeah,
and
so
see
go back
what,
and
see what was originally requested.
So to Leah's thing, it's in the budget every year, so
So,
I see her point. I see her
Chris,
I-
when you,
like I said,
I understand.
back
that,
you, but
know,
I just, from the fiscal perspective, like,
so you have been out 61 times as of now,
62 as of last
62
night.
as of last night, 62 as of last night. And what do you expect, do you have an idea what number that's gonna be over? Or you're gonna be deficit spending by how much?
I
Just a
don't
guess.
at this-
so, looking at the actual, if I may, looking at the actuals that Jen just referenced that we had received on February 2nd, for all of snow and ice, for the 423 accounts, it looks like as of the beginning of February run, we were at 58.05%. So the total budget for that was 313,500, and we have expended $997.34, and that was as of the beginning of February, so there's been more storms and more treatments since then, so,
Yeah,
but that was at 50,
cause the snow and ice overtime,
right, 58%,
snow and ice overtime is through the roof already.
right,
So,
yeah.
all the
And-
storms are on Saturdays and Sundays,
Yeah,
nights.
so like I
Can't catch a
said,
break on the budget, you know.
So I think what I, if I can, fiscally, we want to be sure that we don't go over and then be stuck with a high budget all the time.
But it's gonna bite us.
Practicality, what I think Chris needs to be, and I don't know if we can assure him, but he shouldn't have to say, I need to take 70,000 or 100,000 out of my other budget. I think the onus is, he can do what he has to or what he can, but then he needs to come to the town and say, in November, and say, we need to fund snow and ice and I'm not taking it out.
I was gonna say, historically, it's always been free, I mean, it's been what we could manage through budget transfer or line item transfers or anything, but then I remember year after year when Gary was here and even when Joe was here, it was special article, free cash articles.
And I think that if Chris could feel comfortable with that, he
Right.
might fiscally with the budget. I mean, I know it's, at the end of the day, it's all gonna be the same money.
Right.
But if we don't, if Chris thinks he has to take it out of his other line items, that's not fair to his budget if we say you need to try to keep it low so we don't.
Karen, correct me if I'm
Right.
wrong, last year, it came out of, I think it came out of salary or something, cause they didn't have all the staff, right?
And he-
So that,
Yes.
I
So
don't
he-
know if you were here,
No.
but anyway, so last year,
Yeah.
that 70 came out of
Salaries.
salaries. Because
It was
now
unused.
he's full staffed,
Now
so
we're
now
supposed to- he
there's the
doesn't have that
difference.
wiggle room.
Right, so we don't have, exactly what you're saying, but just to tell you, I didn't know if you knew that part of it, but last year was salaries.
But also, I understood it as it was salaries because that money would essentially have been cleared to free cash anyway.
No, we're not arguing that,
No, I just wanted to like,
I think we just need to help Chris feel,
and I think we need to have a conversation as this group, what are we comfortable setting as the floor this year that is going to set the floor for in
instead of,
perpetuity?
if it's been 200, are we okay with going up to 225? I mean, small increments.
Well, the only other thing is,
I swear I say this one too.
we're gonna have, he's got no room to transfer out of any of his budgets. So no matter what happens, whatever this number is, I think we have to go up a small increment here, whatever the number is. Maybe it's not 280, maybe it's 250, whatever. But it's all gonna have to go against, we're gonna have to find that money, whether it's a special article, whatever we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to find it. And to Leah's point, the lower we are, we don't have that floor. The floor is only there for when we have a mild couple of winters, and I don't know, and it's that crystal ball thing, so that's,
Right, but we can't lower the floor once we.
Once we move it up to two whatever, it stays that
Stays
forever,
there.
it can never go lower. And to where we were, the recommendation is the 200.
This is the one account where we can deficit spend,
Deficit spend.
and we are being forced by hook or by crook to budget 7 to 9%. What is that number? 7 to 9% free cash, right? Like, that's, we gotta take advantage of that. We can't just, like, raise an appropriate, and then raise an appropriate, get that 7 to 9% buffer. I mean, that's kind of taking it
and
to the extreme.
and to his defense, over the years, his budgets have always taken the biggest hit.
You got it.
And what happens is he doesn't get staff or he can't find staff, so he had extra money. But now, he's staffed up, he's got his budgets, we're not going there, we're gonna have to go for the free cash.
It's gotta be free cash.
But I
And
do
it's-
agree that we have to look at, or the selectmen and us and a collaboration of people have to look at raising that floor a little bit, but maybe not the full amount, but we should come up a little bit. But with Chris's understanding that we're not gonna cut the budget, we're gonna go for free cash, right? I mean, what else are we gonna do? Maybe we can find it somewhere, but
Maybe somebody can help me. If we fund 280, and we have an absolutely Florida winter, and we only spend 200, what happens to the rest of the money? Does it go back to free cash?
free cash.
But that means next year, we have to budget 280. We cannot go to 275, or, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the only
That's the
catch to
detriment.
this.
Right.
Right.
The only, you gotta go up slow, so you don't, you have, you know.
And you've taxed your townsfolks to get to that number, right?
Yep.
And that's the part that I don't,
Especially when it's an override year, it might be better to kind of keep it to
exactly.
the minimum. And, listen, I'm all for it. You'll never hear me say cut DPW. Because, but this is a line we can overspend, so almost by leaving it at 200 and saying, okay, we have to make sure that we save enough free cash to fund whatever we need for snow and ice.
Or even if it just goes to 225, just for a little bit of a cushion.
Yeah, I think we need to cushion it.
Except for the fact that this year you're looking for an override. We're saying all these things, go back, and now we're saying, but this, we're gonna go up. There are plenty of places that we should have gone up that we didn't, because we went back to 2025. And this one is the only one that we're allowed to overspend.
We've talked about this fee a
Yeah.
lot over the years.
Oh, God, yeah.
And whatever we wanna go up, I think it should be very small if we decide to do that, but I think it's gonna have to go to free cash, and Chris should have assurances that that's what the finance committee and the select board are gonna do, because we're not gonna cut his budget, we're not gonna lose a guy that he struggled for the last 5 years to get to pay for snow and ice.
The only thing is if there's at year end, if you have accounts, instead of clearing it to free cash, then you do the line item transfers
Right.
on those.
Purchase services, supplies.
Any of those
And
things.
and even if
Then
there's
again,
salary left over because you were down an employee or something, like, then you use that at that time, but otherwise, it's always gone to free cash. And there's been some years that I was really concerned that we weren't gonna have enough free cash. There was a couple winters that I was like, I'm worried snow and ice is gonna come in at like 200,000 in deficit. It wasn't that high, but there were definitely some winters that I was like,
You might get your wish this year.
no, it's not a wish.
If it keeps going the way it's going, she might get it 200,000.
So I wanted to be realistic, but because I had always been like, throw it, why are we budgeting it so low, until I learned that then that sets the floor, and we can't, it's not one that we can look at 5-year actuals and do an average. Once it's set, we have to maintain that at minimum.
I understand that.
Yep,
No,
we're good. Just,
You'll get nothing if you don't ask.
No, no, and I think it's a good piece that you need to add.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that you get nothing, and I understand what you said, but I think the consensus, without taking a vote, because we can't, because it's up to the town floor, but, that we'll
Does any-
support you to do a special article or an article in November, or,
Does anybody know when we set the 200,000 floor?
I feel like it might have been when Joe was here. Like the first year of Joe.
it's been a,
Second,
Yeah.
first or second year
It was
Joe
like
was
the
here.
second year.
we don't have that.
Yeah, it used to be like 150.
Yeah, yeah.
It was 150 for a long
and
time,
he came in and just pleaded that
that we needed to go up just a bit.
yeah.
I mean, I agree with you, Darren, there needs to be a balance. So if we're like at 220 and we gotta take 50 out, we could set it at 200, but then we have to maybe take 70 or 80 out the other end. So, ask for a little and then take a little out later on, so I don't know what that number is, but
Well, in the truth be known here, well, and everybody in this room knows this, these are the beginning stages of the end of the year budget, or the budget proposals. Our town administrator is gonna look at them and say, make a recommendation to you, and we'll go from there. So,
We're still missing the school number.
yeah, I
So,
don't know.
this is far from a final budget document, and hearing from the department heads is informational. And I'm certainly learning as I'm going along. And if there's a consensus that we should bring snow and ice up a proportionate amount, I certainly support that. I think that DOR supports that also. I think that when a town flatlines for a period of time and consistently has to backfill that budget, it doesn't go unnoticed. So I think that there's some very good reasons to increase it from 200 to another amount, and what that other amount, I think, is to be determined after we start finalizing some of the other numbers.
When the DOR comes in and tells you that, please give me a call. I'd love to come in and talk to him about all the unfunded mandates that have hit our budget in the last 5 years that the DOR doesn't help us with.
All right.
If I may, just one final thing, I'm not advocating if, in our recommendation, we see 252. I'm not if we consensus is 220 or something, I would advocate then to keep that other 27 and put it, because there's some of your line items that I have concerns about that I would like to see a little bit healthier just because of cost of supplies and everything, so I'm not advocating to take that amount totally from DPW. I'd actually rather see it maybe go to some of the purchase services or supplies or whatever else piece. So I just wanted you to
Well,
be a
and if
little
it's
more
in those other line items, it can always be used to pay over the,
right,
because that's where we transfer from anything that's left at the end, you know?
right. Yeah, but then it's also gives,
Last year, April 1st came and I made sure she got that paid back quick, you know, so. I'm
We're all,
okay with it. The last couple of year, machinery maintenance supplies, I'm just trying to get it up a couple $1,000 because it just costs more and more to maintain all our equipment. And that's anything that breaks down during a storm or something that goes towards the machinery maintenance, you know. Plow blades, James, that's been at 10,000 for quite a while. We just buy $10,000 worth of blades and every year, and sometimes we have a couple pieces left over, sometimes we don't, you know, and it's not, the fuel, it's just been level across at 2,000, and that just gets added in with the rest of the fuel. Cause it'd be really hard to, you know, how much fuel did each truck use during the storm, and then it did something else during the week, so you can't really.
we get it.
Chris, those blades that you buy, the snowplow blades, those are interchangeable no matter what truck, new equipment you get for the most part.
Yeah, most of the big plows are all punched the same, so they can go on either one, but they're very expensive.
I've noticed, I've noticed there's a lot more frost heaves that last year and this year, and I can imagine that that's wearing and tearing on that also. And I don't know, this is a bigger conversation, but if they can be addressed in the spring or summer, and maybe they're part of the pavement management stuff and the roads that you're looking at, I don't know,
Well,
but.
frost heaves go back down in the spring. Smooth it right out.
But they're killing your trucks in the meantime when you plow it.
I know, a few of the trucks actually have special blades on them that are flexible, so they actually work better on the rough road.
The ones that are this.
Well, they're not that flexible,
No, they use a private
but they're
path.
very expensive, you know. Just to outfit one truck with a 11-foot plow and a 10-foot wing can be upwards of $6,000 just to replace the blades. With those type, but those last a year or two, a couple of years we get out of that set of blades. The old style, we just bought carbide blades. And that's like $300 for a 3-footer, $100 a foot type stuff, but those last generally a whole year, so, you know, we could get away with it. If we put those blades on the little plows, they last a couple of years, because the plows aren't heavy enough, but that's why we've just been even it out at 10,000, we buy $10,000 worth of carbide blades every year, and some days we have some left over, some days we don't.
Thank you, Chris, sorry for that
Thank you.
aside, thank you.
Whatever you wanna do next. Is it water and sewer?
Yeah, that's what I got here. Once again, the big one, the big ones are the wages. That's contract. That's the new contract and getting everything up to the new scale. Administrative wages, that's the union 2% wage increase for their contract also. So I have sewer on here first, right?
Yes.
Actually, they're mixed together in here, they're both.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. So it goes back and forth, water, sewer, water, sewer.
Okay.
Water, sewer, not sewer, water.
The sewer overtime, not really much of an increase, just because if we're lucky, we don't have a lot of sewer overtime. Because we try to maintain the stuff so we don't have issues at night.
It's just the water mains that break, not the sewer mains.
Pretty much,
God.
the biggest issue is with the sewer overtime is pump stations. If they have alarms go off at night or on the weekends, that's what that is.
Chris,
Yes.
we take care of pump stations. What's the life of a pump station before you start needing major repairs?
Not long enough.
3 years, 10 years?
We have troubles with brand new ones.
Okay.
It's the nature of the beast, you're pumping, you're not pumping water, you're pumping whatever gets floated down the pipe. And
The reason I ask you is we approve pump stations, they get put in by the builder, they're paid for by the builder, then we take them over and we get no other revenue from it to keep the maintenance on. That's always the time frame of what you think, how long they last, so.
Per our water sewer regs, they were supposed to be done, and those water and sewer regs may have been adopted after the current plans had already been submitted, I'm not 100% sure, but there is supposed to be a fund created,
that's-
per our water sewer regs that had never
that's what
been,
I thought too, but then nobody was making
Enforcing
sure they
it?
paid in.
yeah, exactly.
So the town just picks up the
Right,
cost,
yeah.
cause there was no
Yeah.
budget, there was no fund there that was supposed to have money in it.
Right, and I'm not sure of the timeline of when those water sewer regs with that clause were adopted versus when everything that has been put in was approved, if that makes sense. They may have all been grandfathered things, but it's a concern that I think when Carol was on the board, she and I kept bringing up that when we are approving the pump stations on all the town for the road acceptances, the pump stations come in with the road acceptances, that we really need to be doing our due diligence on that side as well. If anything is tied to a road acceptance, so.
Because I think Lee and I had learned 4 years ago that to replace one then was at least a minimum of $1 million. Times however many we've got, and I think we do spend the $1 million, but a pump or a part at a time. So it doesn't seem to be outrageous, but when, I think Joe Buckley was the one that when we were asking it, it's $1 million. I know that's not this topic, but it's certainly something that.
Right. And then Austin and I think John, when John was here, found in the water sewer regs that it actually had spelled out all the fund, the fund or whatever that was supposed to be created, that
There's
again,
supposed to be some maintenance money put
Yes.
in
In
an
a nest egg, but
account,
then
and
yeah.
there's no account, there's no money.
yeah, and again,
So
I'm
we
not,
pick up the tab for anything that happens.
right, and again, I'm not sure.
Pumps screw up,
Right.
and
And depends on, a lot is being pumped up, obviously, because the center, the trunk line's the center and everything's uphill and with the amount of flushable wipes and everything now that destroy stuff, so.
flushable wipes aren't really flushable. No,
There's no part of
that's a
that.
lie. That's a lie.
I can
You're
just see
preaching to the
the PSA right now.
Oh, the stuff that we've heard comes out of those pipes is amazing.
No, especially
That's
down
cable
the road.
company's gonna do this.
I-
Please do not.
The thing is that some of the stuff, I don't know how them kids get that stuff down those pipes.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Amazing.
There's a cost from.
Oh, I mean, at the town meeting, we just got, we appropriated some money to
Correct.
rebuild the pumps on Miles Road.
Yeah, I know that those ones often go, partially,
$40,000 or something, I think I don't have the number
Yeah.
on my head, but.
Cause they're some of the older ones, I think, and they're way downhill and the population that they service, so.
We're upgrading those to a different style pump, we can take the.
Do we approve, well, this is not, it's probably a planning board question. Do we approve the design of the pump stations?
That, yes, as far as I know, but it's all part of the planning board.
I think we should,
I believe,
Training
see,
session, if you like.
in the last ones, I believe Joe Buckley, because he was a sewer specialist. So I believe he looked at the last ones that were approved.
Right,
but-
so in general, you would have, if you're gonna either do renovations to, upgrades to, or build new, you would work with an engineering firm like a Weston Sampson, and they would spec out based upon your, how far are you carrying it, what are your elevations?
I completely understand, right? The question is, when that is actually designed and installed by the builder, we should still be providing the spec because we inherit the equipment.
The town has been.
We do.
It's a combination.
They're
They sign
approved, but just,
Well,
the design is approved.
You're right,
so
and
let's look at that spec.
absolutely.
Alright, anyway,
But the town had, because the planning board says this, it's their area, but the information came from DPW always.
DPW approves the sewer pump station
Right.
for the subdivisions. The DPW actually physically goes in and approves that, that's not part of,
Well, they're engineers.
It's part of a subdivision.
We would have peer review from Quinn as part of this.
yes, but it's always, DPW's always played a role. I asked that clearly many years now.
so there's a
But you
wetland spec
can't
for
help
pump
what
station.
people are gonna do.
There probably is,
I
but
agree with what you're saying, we need to up, the specs are gonna get pushed way up so that we don't have problems.
There's pumps that run for very, very,
Right.
very
They
long.
tell them, the specs tell them what they have to be able to do, they have to do it. But they can come in with different style, different brands of pumps, some are better than others, and I think it should be, they shouldn't be allowed to pick their own, I don't know.
My
But
point
I
is-
didn't write those
yes,
specs.
my point exactly.
To get back on the budget side of
Well, it is
I
budget,
mean, the spec, I mean, I'm just
Correctly.
mindful of open you're specking pump stations,
to reduce maintenance costs.
okay,
I'm
fair
now done.
enough.
Stepping away.
Well, it's fair enough because it falls back on the water and sewer ratepayers. That's who pays the bill. The town doesn't take that out of the tax rate, it comes out of the water and sewer users.
every once in a while it comes out of the taxpayers.
Free cash, sometimes you had to pick stuff up.
When?
We have sometimes put free cash in, sometimes, very little.
I was gonna say, it's not frequent, but
Not
it's,
enough to
The
make it.
majority of the burden is.
Yes, it is. And truthfully, from just rebuilding that one over Miles Road, that's an additional cost that's not captured in, whatever.
Well, but that money was taken out of the retained earnings.
No, I get it, which is paid by the water and sewer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, the rate
Yeah.
payers, absolutely,
It's too expensive.
Okay.
got upgrade. I don't know, where are we?
Purchase services.
Purchase services, sewer purchase services. Let's see, where I got the notes on this one.
We're gonna be able to do with this anyway. I mean, the big number we're stuck with.
There's really nothing we can do with it.
Right.
For some reason, I don't have a great note
I'm
for
gonna have to
that.
move before I have to go on.
What number we looking?
A lot of the sewer purchase services is, engineering, Weston and Sampson.
Good.
I believe is the majority of our purchase services, and then also, cleaning the wet wells at the pump stations have to be cleaned 3 or 4 times a year. But a lot of it goes to the engineering. that helps us with all our reports. And
Now, you talk about hiring somebody though as an engineer, would that replace this line item? With-
Well, I
with
wouldn't
your things that
say
they were able to do.
replace, I think it will offset it. I mean, we still need specialists, people, you know, Western Sampson has people that specialize in working on pumps and the sewer end of it, and water end of it, you know what I mean? So if we got a general civil engineer, he's gonna help, but if he's not we will still need some help from specialists, you know? I think that was the idea with Seth, was to try to offset the cost, because we spend a ton of money on engineering, at the engineering firms, whether it's hiring their maintenance people, cause they have people, they'll come out and work on the crew, they'll work on the pumps, they'll do when we can't, maintenance we can't do.
We bought Weston and Sampson a few of their really nice trucks over the years.
Oh, yes, we have.
Absolutely.
I just don't understand why it's not lettered on there, this truck purchased by the town of Rutland.
It's,
Well,
I think we buy them a new truck every year. We might don't.
I think it's a couple some years.
but I mean, that's
It is what it is.
That's where that goes. Cause our guys can do general maintenance on the pumps, but they can't, they're not specialists, they're not electricians, they're not, so we have to hire them to come in.
The level of licenses that we require to run our system, the salary equivalent to those particular licenses, we would never be able to recruit. Unfortunately, we just couldn't.
You had benefits in
yeah,
it too, you're better off outsourcing.
Exactly. And we're certainly not alone. There are, you know, the majority of communities will outsource that level of licensing.
Chris, your sewer purchase services it's more than last year's budget, but it's still low compared to the last couple actual years. Are you comfortable with the sewer purchase services at 84? FY '24 says it was just under 98,000 and FY '25 was just over, it was 112,000. So 84 seems a little
Yeah,
low.
we had some extra issues with maintenance on a couple of the pumps. So it varies.
Up and down.
Yeah, it's up and down, that's the big thing, I can't,
I
it's hard
just,
to nail it down.
I know.
And, you know, we're trying to be nice to the rate
yeah,
payers too.
I just know with our aging infrastructure, is that going to change?
Hmm?
Is it going to change what
Well,
needs to be?
2030 it will.
yeah, right, I see your point.
Yeah.
And Jen asked a good question, as a follow-up to that. All the new building is going on, all the new sewer lines laying. Do you still think with the engineering cost, that is an appropriate number, considering the volume of increase in the town?
Well, it's gonna be a couple of years before there's any more pump stations built, so
Okay.
we have pump stations. They are adding some houses on, but these pump stations are designed for these houses that are being built now, so.
Okay.
And I think if I understood from, Joe would always say that there's balances in adding more ratepayers, there's a balance of increasing income versus the burden on the system. And so you can add some and you're not increasing the burden to the cost that you're adding, if that makes sense.
By design.
Well, you'd hope it works that way, right?
Right.
But that, all the more reason to keep pace with this line item.
And be mindful that we have an aging infrastructure. I mean, our water treatment plant is ancient. And I think it was, and you know, the sewer work and everything also. So it's just something to be mindful of, for sure.
Okay.
Water purchase services, that's considerably higher because we test, we pay a lot for testing every week, every month, certain tests. And the same thing, we have to hire help. If we have problems at the water treatment plant, we have to get people in there. Excuse me, that can, professionals, and it's all run by computers, and when you have to call that company, very expensive.
Didn't we have one of the units down last year, this whole year, last year?
Yeah, last year we had one of the filters was down.
Yeah.
That causes all kinds of
I
issues.
know. Okay.
You know, we filter 1.5 million gallons a day. So they run a lot, they work.
Comes all out of?
Hmm?
Mushkapog.
But we have one of the cleanest reservoirs around, according to the algae people. We have no algae bloom right now.
Careful what you. Is there a, maybe this is the right time to ask this, or go ahead.
What?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, ask.
Is there, do we have a major, I've heard rumors that we have to update that water treatment facility. Has that already been done, or do we still have more?
Oh, no, it definitely needs updating, but we're doing small updates as we go, but I mean, at some point,
It's gonna get a
to
big,
revamp the whole thing is,
okay.
Get down there and take a walk through there sometime.
Oh, I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing against Chris doing a great job,
but
but
what it does, it's a small, it's just,
Oh,
a
it's.
lot goes on down there.
More than
And it's aging, it's,
35, 30,
yeah.
okay, sorry.
Sewer supplies, that buys, repair work, things we need to repair the pumps, filters, stuff like that, and chemicals that we add to certain parts of, certain lines around town, we add stuff to help stuff flow. Sometimes everything needs a little help.
Keep it flowing through.
Water supplies have gone up seriously, and, you know, so that's why I increased this one a lot, because between the treatment chemicals that we have to have, we also have to maintain a supply of parts for meters, and brass has gone through the roof, and we have depleted over the last few years to the point where we don't have enough equipment there, so when we read water meters and 50 of them don't read, we don't have 50 sitting around that we can go replace. I mean, we're in the process right now of doing the whole town, but meanwhile, we still need to have equipment and parts in stock, and we're just trying to build some stock back up so our guys can go out and do the work. Sewer treatment and transfer, we all know what that is, that's what we pay. That's a whole deal anyway. Hopefully someday we're gonna have a whole big chunk of money out of that, right, Heather?
Yes.
But whether it's in any of our lifetimes, when it's settled, who knows?
No, I was gonna have a question about that. You're talking about the rates that we're paying in in water resources?
Yeah,
Okay,
for
so
the
what is going on
transfer,
with that?
for the
It's
transfer.
litigation, we can't discuss it.
Right.
Sorry.
If you were paying the bills, I think you'd want it discussed.
We pay twice as much as we were in the FY '25.
So-
The actuals.
And there's an amount that's being escrowed,
Right,
so there's an amount that we're being billed, an amount that we're paying against that bill, and then the balance is being escrowed so that our liability remains low
In case
as
we
we negotiate and work through the litigation aspects of the case.
Got it.
Thank you.
We have the money to pay the bill if we have to, but we're not. In case, well, let's go
Maybe
on.
we don't, but if we have to, it's there.
we never,
Let's see.
just remember that.
Water, other expenses, that pays for classes for the guys if they have to, upgrade a license or something like that. That pays, that's what that's for. I don't know what the blank one is right here. Oh, I see, all right. Well, I don't get that one. 440, 5750.
Sewer emergency infrastructure repair.
Can't tell you what that is right now because I don't have it on here.
Emergency infrastructure
See
repair.
over here,
You're asking for 25,000.
I know that, but there's no, it's blank.
If a sewer line, breaks, you gotta wanna spend the 25 grand to fix it. Anybody who's on that sewer line, in the direct line of where it breaks, I think they're gonna be happy with this spending the 25.
I was thinking it was also pump station, if a pump station goes down or something.
Yeah, it's deliberately vague. Any sewer emergency,
What's the blank one? 440,
5750.
440, 5750.
What is it?
Emergency sewer repair.
Oh, okay,
Infrastructure.
yeah, cause for some reason it's not,
It's
it didn't work
infrastructure.
out on this. Yeah, that's in case we have emergency, it's just there. If we have emergency blockage or something that we have to dig up and do something, the money's not in the operating budget to
Don't want it to go
To
to town
pay
meeting for a vote and wait for
repairs
it.
like that.
Just saying.
Just saying.
And the water emergency infrastructure repairs, same thing, if we have a real serious water break, like we had to have it
Center of
down
town.
on Main Street last year. We can't fix a 16-inch water line, we have to have a company come in and do that, and it's just not in the operating budget, so Joe had always had us, an emergency infrastructure repair. There used to be more, it got cut back. Cause somebody didn't like it.
It'll be free cash if we need it.
Contained earnings.
That's a spended container and stuff.
Then obviously the debt principal and interest, that's on the borrowing that we did. And indirect charges, that pays insurance and all that for all the help, right? That's
For all the staff you have.
for all the staff, that's what the indirect charges.
Right.
So that's, I get those numbers straight from Nick.
So Nick's the problem for why that line's up, huh?
He gives me the info on those ones, cause he knows how to figure them out.
I'm good with that one. How about stormwater?
Stormwater wages I cut back because we moved, when I was first laid out, it was, when Joe first laid that out, it was so much in wages, so much in supplies, so much in everything, but once we get going with the whole system, the wages is we lowered it way down because we only charge wages to that when we actually do stormwater work. We don't have any employees that are full-time or part-time stormwater employees. That's just charged hourly. You know, when they do that work, they get charged for that. The administration wages, that's for the office, for when they're doing billing and all that stuff, obviously. And the same thing, that gets charged as when they need it. Purchase services, that covers, engineering, cause we've needed lots of help to get up to date on our MS4 permit. We were so far behind that Weston and Sampson has been working for years to get us up to date. We're finally getting there, it's at the end of the permit, and the new permit's gonna come out next year. But we finally at least caught up in we got the DEP off our stuff, so, but,
2 more trucks.
and purchase services also pays for catch basin cleaning. That's $50,000-$60,000 a year to do that. And we also are leasing a new street sweeper for 4 years, five years. I think it's a 5-year lease, right? But
The fact that they're offering 5-year leases is crazy, but yes, it's a
it
5-year
was a
lease.
5-year
Yeah,
lease.
yeah.
That comes out of that purchase services line.
When is it fiscal year 27 or 28 that we need to sign the new license?
A new MS4 permit. Well, I think what's gonna happen, according to the meeting with Joyce the other day, it's supposed to come out in 27. But the last one was supposed to come out on a certain date, it came out 5 years later. So this one they think is gonna be maybe 1 year, so probably 28, the new. And then they'll have a whole new set of demands.
That's why I was asking, because we're gonna see a huge bump in this, I've heard,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if we were supposed to be planning for
They're
it
still
for
fighting
27.
amongst them as to what they can cause what they're gonna want us to do is, right now, at the beginning stages.
Funded mandates?
Exactly, you got it, by a lot, a major issue.
I heard the federal government doesn't monitor the EPA anyway right now, but
Yeah, I don't.
Massachusetts
why I
gonna
think-
double down.
That's why I think it might, and Teresa said, it might not come out nearly as quick as they expect, so.
As long as we don't worry about it in 27. That's our, tonight.
So the stormwater supplies, I increased that budget, I took some money from the wages and put it towards supplies so that buys pipe, stone, when we replace culverts, any work we do for the drainage system, manholes, we buys all the parts for bricks, cement, everything we need to rebuild or redo catch basins and drainage structures. Then again, the indirect charges is that amount for that, if we were to spend that much on wages.
Does anyone have any questions? Chris went through a lot tonight, we appreciate it.
If I may, I have a question, and this isn't an answer for tonight, but I think maybe you and Seth have done some of the work, Heather, to see what the cost would be for the town engineer, like what the projected cost savings for the town engineer position versus expense, just because I think whether it's this budget or going forward, I think we're at a point in the size of this community that we would greatly
absolutely.
benefit from that, and it would be cost savings in some infrastructure stuff down the road also.
Yeah, cause under these wages also, that 1/3 of those wages is for, I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, but that's what made me think of it.
For all three, water, sewers, 33, and 34, or something like that.
And I fully support maintaining some consulting, purchase services for consulting services, cause we need that peer
We have
review and stuff, and to your point, there's some things that even if we had a town engineer, we couldn't do. But I think that, and looking forward from now, but going into the future, the cost savings that we would benefit as a town to have a town engineer look at plans or stuff.
I think that was the thinking when Seth was doing this, is just, I haven't personally talked to him about how much he thinks it could offset, I'm not sure.
I think that from whether you speak with Quinn Engineering or you speak with Weston Sampson, I think that they very much support the town taking this step, not because, they're not worried about necessarily losing the work. They look at it as there's less trips, just like when we put our town council on Zoom, there's less physical trips that they have to make. That's where we'll see the cost savings. We'll be able to do more boots on the ground ourselves, and provide that data. So we'll still need that peer review from the Weston Sampsons of the,
Specialists
yeah,
and stuff,
but- I don't know how to, I'm not quite sure how we would quantify it, but we'll certainly take a look at it and see if we can come up with a number.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
They're definitely all for us, like you said,
Oh, absolutely.
they actually helped us develop a job
Yeah.
description, so it's like,
They,
they knew they could possibly lose somewhere.
but it isn't the work that they wanna, it's not the work that they wanna be doing,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's not the valuable work, like,
Right,
it's not what
exactly.
they should be doing, so it's just I don't need an answer tonight, but
We call them lots of times for really basic stuff, but you still need an engineer's perspective on it, and
Yeah.
I'm not an engineer.
Licensed civil. Well, I mean, the
Oh.
hire will be a licensed.
We'd like the person to be a civil engineer,
Civil
correct?
be licensed.
Like, yeah,
You're gonna pay a lot of money.
This is a different position than the half hour ago we said we didn't wanna hire that engineer.
we want to not hire the engineer through our highway wage line. We wanna hire the engineer through our enterprise, stormwater, water, sewer. Because that's where we would be using the services.
Majority of the time, for sure.
Yeah. So there was a discussion about whether or not whether or not that position should be funded through DPW's general wages, or if it should be funded through our enterprise funds, because that's where the majority of the work would be. No?
I see it, just the ears go right up, I'm like, yep.
Well, we could do it 25, 25, 25, 25. It's just, where are we gonna be using this person? The vast majority of the work is gonna be in your water, sewer, stormwater. So it's not we're not tucking money.
Don't look at me, I don't pay a water and sewer bill, I could care less.
Hey, stormwater though,
And I can promise you, when I start, I'm moving, because there's no way I'm paying the fees you guys pay here, it's ridiculous.
I thought a half hour or 45 minutes ago, we were talking about hiring an engineer and we said we wouldn't do that because there were too many specialty things we couldn't have, we'd still have to pay out. Was that a different position?
I don't remember,
Under the highway, they were talking about doing it here. You're right.
no,
I didn't hear anybody say we wouldn't hire one.
No, we
You said we could hire a civil engineer, but that wouldn't have enough expertise that we needed. I'm
to be complete
probably
without
my
another
brain is
engineer.
buzzing.
100%.
So wouldn't, you're not wrong, Ted, what?
Right.
It just wouldn't cover all the things they need to do, that person.
They'd still have to
They're still
hire
gonna
out
have
for
to hire
special
out for a
projects.
specialty person.
So they don't
So why are we now, a half an hour later, talking about hiring an engineer when half an hour ago we were saying that wouldn't be a good idea? Or did I
Well, I don't
completely
think we said it
misunderstand
wouldn't be a
what we were
good
talking
idea,
about?
we just, it hasn't been fully fleshed out yet on
and I think it
where it
was,
would fall.
I understood it as it was a good idea, but it wasn't going to completely absolve the need for consulting fees, because there
It's
still
gonna
would
offset
be,
the cost a lot.
it would decrease our reliance on the consulting firms, but it wouldn't absolve us completely from the need to work
So
with
you're
them.
not wrong.
With specialty things.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, as long as it's charged to what the work is being done, that's would be my comment, that's all, I mean.
Overall, we're expecting this position to essentially pay for itself, right, relative to the purchase services that we have been,
Yeah,
right? So
That's
that's
the-
the bottom line, this
Yes.
is, we're not talking about increasing rates to support this engineering position.
We would decrease the specialty engineering right now, bring an engineer in-house, still use some specialty engineering, but the overall cost hopefully would be less. That's
Or at least a wash, right?
at least a wash in some
and
way.
a wash, because we could have someone put eyes on things that aren't being looked at all right now, because we don't have anyone, and we're not gonna
Someone do
pay
a
consulting
study?
fees.
As to what we'd have to pay that person? Or do we just guess?
Seth looked around. He had help with, Weston and Sampson actually helped us develop a job description to,
And quit
for
engineering,
them to help lose work. You know, they know they're potentially gonna lose some work from it, but they're okay with it and they're willing to help because they think it's a good idea.
Thanks, Chris, sorry for that can of worms.
Expand it.
Government.
Everything else?
all right. I think we have covered everything with Chris, and once again, I thank, any other questions from the finance committee for Chris? I'm good.
Thanks, Chris. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot.
Alex, I'm just checking in with you. Anything else for Chris?
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Back at us on that. All right,
Thank you, Chris.
okay.
Have a great weekend.
If the Board of Selectmen wanna call it a night, we have a couple things we gotta talk about.
Anything else for select board? All right,
Oh, you good?
I am, yeah.
great. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Second, aye.
Alex? Right. We are adjourned.
All right.
8:36. You don't turn that
Does
off.
anyone on the finance committee need to make, stretch their legs, so we want
Yeah, just a strap.
a stretch and a
Ladies room.
bio break?
Yeah.
Cold in here, is it me?
Don't flush across.
Couple minutes.
Parking lot wind sprint.
I put the heater up to go.
No, we're not going back
It
in,
goes
I
up for a
understand
certain
that.
period of time and then it kicks back
Well,
down.
at least you dressed appropriately.
There you go.
You wearing that picture still go upside down after that game on Sunday. I mean, they had a great year, but man, that game was tough.
Yeah, that was.
So it's hard to watch.
But they had, I mean, they well exceeded their expectations,
Yeah,
but they,
that's right. But you go right back to that mode where you're like, oh, now, back.
Spreadsheet, which is what Leah was able to do.
Yeah.
Until they hurt, May was hurt,
So, I will tell you,
he threw off.
I recommend.
He said he
Because it's a broad side.
If he had hit Austin Hooper on that play
a
in
little
the
different.
late third quarter, fourth quarter, that would
I
have
did
been,
not
I
know
could have thrown that ball.
If what's his name wasn't on his ass,
That's,
looking up most of the game,
He
it would have
did.
been better too. He got beat every which way but lose.
not for nothing.
That's what
He
he
was
was.
a statue back. I don't know. I don't,
He just-
something was wrong.
He's not been the same since he had that knee issue.
He said that. He said, I'm not.
I've been doing this a lot.
Using that for excuse.
We're gonna hit your head on the floor, we're gonna have to clean the rugs, we don't have money for that, Harry.
No, that's
It's like
fine.
hockey season.
I got a
going.
very clean.
This guy,
I wouldn't.
Such a
even-
bum in the
I
pile.
wasn't looking in any
And
kind
then
of salary.
it's like, oh, you had a
Patrick
Patrick Long.
yeah,
This is Bergeron, remember?
oh yeah.
And it's like, oh, now we hear he had
Four
a,
concussions later.
well, and this guy had a,
Wait.
Will Campbell, he got, those guys, you're in the big leagues now. When you get this far into the playoffs, you're playing with the big boys.
But throughout the season before his injury, the only bad game he had was against Myles Garrett, and everybody has a bad game against Myles Garrett.
He had 2 or 3 different Miles Garrett's in these last games, so.
oh, yeah.
They had 2 or 3 of them.
There's a lot of line items that look into the.
They didn't leave.
Absolutely.
Stevenson.
So I just,
Things to do.
yeah, and I think a lot of the.
Stayed in, he got blown right over, I mean, the guy ran right over.
Good night, everybody.
What's his name, that big kid from out west said he could, if Will Campbell came down to his camp in Texas, he'd do it for free, and he says
But
I can
everybody
get
else is with Heather.
it back where he needs it.
So I'll have to look
He said it's not
Select board was to go
physical,
off
it's
of
what you
structural.
did.
Technique and
Technique
mental.
and structural, that's all.
What, between 25 actual and what 26 was,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
so.
And of course, once the code, once people understand the code of how he gets beaten,
Well,
that, you look at the tape,
as you
it's
go
like,
up,
okay,
as
so
they
this is
go
the
to the
move.
end of the year, right,
This is the move.
and they knew
Got
the
it.
snap count.
And which is
They said they knew our snap count, they were gone before we were.
Well,
It showed, oh well.
The good news is they all got paid the millions and billions of dollars regardless of how sucky they did. Woo-hoo!
do you know what happened to
There's a
with
lot of
California
numbers that
taxes?
are
Did you hear about that? It cost them money to go
It's
to
also
Super
my
Bowl.
first
All
time, you
those
know, I can
players.
look at that budget
Great,
all day in the
because-
office and say, oh yeah, I got this.
Because they
oh, yeah, I
worked in
got this.
California for
And then
7 days.
that's the
Yeah.
question, how does this one?
Gotta pay the taxes.
I have no idea. Quite
California's getting
honestly.
taxes on their
So,
entire
I know
year's
that
worth
they're
of salary.
That's the way California works. If you do business in California, you don't pay taxes on your
Your 7
revenue in
days.
California.
No, the whole thing.
You pay your Massachusetts corporation, you have 20 million, you're paying 20 tax on 20 million to California.
It cost them all,
We pulled
well
out
over
at the
200
my last
million.
meeting.
I'm sorry,
I just-
I keep sending it to Mr. Packets.
whether they get too much money or not,
Holds things
still.
as long as you possibly can for me.
I feel bad for people who are trying to make, you know,
But it's
ends meet.
basically sort of.
I don't feel so bad for them.
Alright, so, we,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm bringing it back to, bring it back so we can get done.
View of what I think I can do for a role. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna do 29.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from February 5th.
The motion and a second to accept the meeting minutes from February
Myself out of
5th.
a pothole.
Do we have any discussion, any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor,
Aye.
any opposed? Meeting minutes from February 5th. Alright. We have a reserve fund transfer request. Everybody saw it in the package tonight. This is, for the new town accountant for training and some annual MMAA annual education stuff that she has to do, this person has to do at UMass, and mileage reimbursement.
Is this government mandated training?
It is towards her accreditation, yes.
So if towards her accreditation, do we have a tuition reimbursement program with her that she signs off that if we pay this, she has to stay so long?
I don't believe so, no.
We probably wouldn't create the first one like this. I agree with what you're saying, but we don't even have a town policy to do this. We should start there.
I'm with you. I'm trying to
So this-
figure, we're helping her get up and get more money, cause
More money for-
when she gets that accreditation, she'll get more money.
She also becomes a better town accountant.
The town administrator said she will closely monitor this situation and help us out if there's any issues.
When are these expenses being incurred? When is this being incurred?
In the current fiscal year,
Well, I know, but
Oh.
when?
March.
Is it during the workday? Does she go to classes during the day?
I believe the classes are during the day, yes.
So we're not right before, but we're almost right before. Cause this is taking away from other emergencies, right?
Well, so I guess I will offer that we hired Kate in December.
Yeah.
So she's a new employee. We hired her, this is, she's identified the classwork that she needs to do. The budget was not appropriately, there wasn't the appropriate amount of money already budgeted for her to take these classes. The only way to ensure that she can take these classes is if we put the money into the budget. I mean, if we knew that we would be hiring an accountant, if we knew we had a
That part I
yeah,
understand,
yeah.
but could we take the class over the summer when we have a new budget?
No, cause it's only offered.
Okay, so this is important
Okay.
context, right?
Oh,
You
okay,
understand where I'm
yep,
going, right?
I'm
Because
sorry,
if we could
yep,
just kick
yep. I
this
wasn't
into a
understanding
regular
the
budget
question.
instead of having it.
That was my question, what's the emergency?
But she's already, but there's also, this budget line item is in her budget request as well, going for set 27. So
Correct.
it's not just this that she's taking. How many more then is that?
I don't know what her curriculum looks like. I can certainly find out that information, but it would be, it's the same program that we just paid for Amy, the town assessor. She just received, actually, I should have started your meeting with that. Great news, we have an accredited assessor. She received her accreditation, funding her classes through this exact same process. Maybe not as a reserve fund transfer,
Right.
but still encumbered by the town and supported by the town for her to get that accreditation.
And nothing to hold her to us for any length of time after getting this accreditation.
No, there was nothing specific, however, we can certainly look at a town policy for that.
I'm only
Yeah,
saying because now,
Yeah,
when eventually we get the green light to start talking about the cut budget,
yeah.
you're gonna see, running out the door. So this is the stuff we should be watching, our P's and Q's.
Yeah, but we can't not do this, right?
Well, there isn't a reasonable reason to not, it is in the town's best interest.
Well, we have to have her accredited.
Well,
She's not accredited now. She has to take this class. It's gonna make her accredited, or how else do we say it?
And the
I guess-
accreditation only runs once a year in March.
yeah,
I think
and I
that's
guess,
the other important
yeah,
context.
and I guess bottom line, why, the professional development opportunity is in all of our best interests, that our town accountant is as well educated and knowledgeable as she possibly can be.
I move that we approve this transfer.
The motion, we have a second.
Second.
Now we can have a little more discussion. Does anyone have anything to discuss about this? Unfortunately, we don't have a policy about employee retention after classes, so what can we do?
Is there accreditation required?
No,
That's the other piece. I was like, I don't think that we've always had accredited accountants. There's certainly, I know you're required to have accreditation.
Yeah.
The treasurer is required, the town clerk is required, the accountant is not.
no, the town clerk is not required. It's not a requirement.
Oh, okay, I thought it was.
How much money do we have in our reserve fund right now?
I just spent
I don't know, I thought we were gonna get a report on that,
You
with all
did
the
get a report
expenses.
on that.
It was
You did.
106,
should have in that
107,
60.
and then it was, we spent just 20 something.
What's that?
Nothing.
I heard you.
Then don't ask me to repeat it.
Why would you say it then?
We're not in a fiscally responsible mode here. We just keep spending and spending and spending and spending and spending, and we all know.
$1,000 to make the accountant
Okay, that's fine.
accredited.
That's fine. I'm allowed my opinion. My opinion is, I think that we should put a policy in place before we start spending the money.
I don't need the numbers, and I think it's a good idea to go to school. I think the more they can go, the better they are, like you just said. I
I'm,
I'm 100%, I'm
The reserve
100%.
fund is supposed to be for emergency expenses, number one. And there's no other place that this money could be found somewhere out of a
So-
purchase service account?
Unfortunately, her budget, as you know, because you met with her, I think she has 3 lines in her budget.
Right?
There was no additional resources, when the budget was put together for FY
I'm pissed that we don't have a policy.
but I will say that your reserve fund is also for unanticipated costs, right? It's for emergency spending and unanticipated. So this may not be considered an emergency, but it is unanticipated. And if the committee feels that this should be put off, then we'll put it off. I mean, I don't believe that it's an emergency. I do believe it's a worthwhile expense. But you know, is it a hill that I think any of us, you know, including Kate, would collapse on?
I would ask that the select board put a procedure together on this before we worry about keys and everything else. I think this is pretty good.
We have a budget of 93,000 for salary, and we're not paying her that much. So there's a salary line item, and I know that we can't do that now, but why are we doing a reserve fund transfer if there's gonna be salary that we could take from?
Because
In-
we'd have to
in May.
pay for the class in March. We can't send her unless she's registered, and we can't,
Services can't temporarily cover that?
there isn't,
So we're expecting to underspend on salary, is that what I'm hearing?
I haven't been tracking her salary line item, but
If we do, that'll come back in free cash.
it'll come back in free cash.
I think my concern is, I'm not concerned about the $2,200 for professional training. My concern is, and I agree with Karen, we don't have a policy yet for once we spend the money to try to retain these employees. If we could work towards that, I think it would give everybody on the finance committee a warmer, fuzzier feeling towards this.
Didn't we just handle this in a different way with firefighters, EMTs and paramedics?
They were working on a policy. We asked them to
But
go
that
back.
was part of a
Their
contract,
classes.
correct?
Right, so honestly, a policy would not hold somebody legally to employment. A contract could. At this point, we do not have a contract for that particular employee. I don't know that the select board is inclined to offer a contract for that employee. But a policy would not be a legally binding agreement that an employee wouldn't be able to leave their employment here.
No, they can leave, but then they have to pay a portion of it back. Private industry does it all the time.
And I think to add on to that policy is also who across the town is eligible to be able to take professional development, and what are the parameters? And is it always gonna be mileage, and do they get time off from work to do that, and do they, there's a lot that needs to be in the policy.
Was Donna accredited? Was Donna accredited?
So I do wanna offer that discouraging professional development, regardless of the expectation that there should be a policy, is a morale issue.
I'm not discouraging it.
Well,
I'm not discouraging it, but I think that, and I'll say the same thing I said about the firefighters, they should have some skin in the game. Where if we pay that and I'm not saying she does, but I said it about the firefighters, I'll say it about her. If they flunk out, what's the skin in the game? We're out the $2,100.
okay.
So maybe we do tuition reimbursement.
By policy, I know we got in trouble with that. We found out that we couldn't actually do that.
No, we could do tuition reimbursement where we pay her after she submits a
I think
passing grade.
That's how you would
Preferably.
make sure, I had to do that when I got my master's. I had to pay up
And
front
then-
and then get reimbursed.
Right, and then you get reimbursed after you've proven that you've passed the class and get a B. And then we could do that after she signs up for the class.
But there's no policy in place now,
There's
so
no,
you
there's
can't.
nothing possible. And for the $2,100, I'm not willing to,
Well, we made it,
we need a policy.
we made it clear that we've gotta, something's gotta be done towards a
Right.
policy.
We'd
correct.
love to have a policy, we can relay that message over to the selectmen, I think this is for the, I'd like to,
It's
if
small
any other
money, really.
discussion on it, I'd like to take a vote. We'll do it as a roll call. And, or we can,
We can do it, just plain.
okay, we can do it as a roll call. Rochelle,
Rochelle, aye.
Purcell, I.
Would I? Winika, aye.
You're right.
Now, will I grudgingly?
there's no, I grudgingly, but I understand where you're pointing, you're pointing the
Oh, excuse me, I, with regret, with regret.
But I think there does need to be a policy.
Trepidations.
So the motion
No,
carried.
it's with regrets.
No.
We have to put this policy into place. This is coming up more and more. We need to put a policy in place.
Does anyone have, anything else? Revolving funds, do we wanna do that tonight, or do we wanna push that again? It's 9:00, I am really like wishing to push it along.
Before you leave, I just wanted, the select board, will get this, Tuesday. However, I wanted to share sort of the draft, rollout of the override informational sessions. There's a calendar of events, there's the public,
Thank you.
public outreach, social media, videos, it is all in place. We are ready for the 90 days, the 90-day blitz, if you will. It's probably more than you wanna read right now, and I'll be happy to email it, but because it's a, document that the select board have not reviewed and approved, it's still considered draft, but I know that, you've all been anxious to know how this is gonna manifest, so I wanted to make sure that you went home with it. The Rutland Community Cable will be doing interviews with all the staff to provide two sets of videos. One will be what does your town department do? What are the highlights? What are some of the positives in general operations? And then there'll be an additional round of videos talking more about the reductions and the impacts to the service, the 25% service cuts. Got a series of public information sessions, pop-up coffee with the town administrator, which may or may not be positive, but we'll see how it goes. And obviously a pretty aggressive social media campaign.
So, to back her up, I saw this a little bit ago, this morning, or she's been talking about it. And she's asked us to take a minute and look at it, and then if we like it or think that she's willing, open for suggestions, she's got, I think it's a decent plan. But she's willing, with all the professional people we have on this committee, to take a little bit of advice and to help her get it across the start finish line.
What I really like is invites. I don't know the people that you know. If you have committee meetings or other boards and nonprofits that you sit on, you have meetings coming up between now and May, and you think that me participating for 5 or 10 minutes would be worthwhile, I'm absolutely happy to accommodate that. We're gonna be at the Community Expo, we'll certainly be at the yard sale. We're looking at some of the school events that we can participate in, but I'm open to any opportunity to talk about the override and what the impacts will be.
I think maybe one of the sneaky, super important things is the unified toolkit. We're gonna get bombarded with garbage, I'll say, in terms of like ether information that somebody heard from somebody that knows somebody. And like the facts and the figures that we put in front of people have to be 100% consistent. Well, so-and-so showed the numbers from November and this other person gave you the numbers from March, and then it sounds we're like, that's just gonna be like, okay, well, I heard that it actually is this other number, and even though those first two numbers are right, that third number, if it's really scary, that's the one that's gonna carry.
So that's one of the challenges, right? Because we know we don't have school numbers until March 5th. However, we know that we need to start getting the budget numbers out there yesterday. So getting the budget numbers out there means getting budget numbers out there that are likely to change once we know that school number. And we also don't have our health insurance number. So I can't stress enough how I would love to put out one budget document and say that that's the document. But if I do that, then we're still treading water for another 2 weeks.
I think you have to put a caveat on there that pending.
Yeah,
I would say specifically, I would say
School
specific.
budget
but
and health
so-
insurance, right?
Absolutely. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm.
Don't use 8 million significant figures, right? Like, we don't know some of those numbers, so we shouldn't quote them, right? It's not 2.875
Right.
million.
But we also know that if we use round numbers, that's something that also raises suspicion. So
Super tricky.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is
Thank
that
you,
at
yes.
all times,
yeah,
we should be, at least amongst the committee, the select board, be reading from the same sheet.
But we haven't even really discussed them. We've just received what you wrote for us. We really haven't discussed them.
well, you haven't finished hearing from all of your departments, we don't have we're still missing significant budget numbers. I mean, I can't give you something that I don't have.
Nope.
I think this is a good start. And at least there's something planned. Whereas we
Well, I
didn't have
think
anything
it's
last week.
right, we've got a plan. And we gotta, as quickly as we can get to the, like he said, the unified toolkit, we gotta get there. But that's probably not that March 5th date, you know, or whatever that,
We're gonna have stuff up on the website after, so this select board will give me the guidance and the okay of what to start putting out to the public. But this is the,
and this is, the selectmen haven't seen this yet, or going to
not,
see
yeah,
it.
they haven't had a meeting to review it. It's on their agenda for next Tuesday.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whew, cut me off quick, that was quick, it was good.
There it is, misinformation.
And Tamika, can you push that to the next meeting? Hopefully we're not here,
Having fun.
Are you even gonna remember what you wanna talk about by then?
probably not.